It's been suggested to me that some people are waiting impatiently for the next Scribble Theology video, so here I am. I've got my trusty New King James Bible here with me today because, well, it's God's Word, and what better material is there to teach from? So here's a lesson I'm going to call Joshua Abridged. For those of you who need a little context, Joshua picks up after the Israelites have escaped Egypt with a lot of help from Yahweh and a whole bunch of nasty plagues, and have spent 40 years wandering around in the desert eating manna. See, Moses pissed off God by hitting a rock with a stick when he was just supposed to speak to the rock, so everyone had to wait for him to die before they could enter the Promised Land. Alright, chapter 1. God tells Joshua that he will be the new leader of the Israelites, and that all the land from the wilderness to the Euphrates to the great sea toward the going down of the sun will be theirs. Nobody will be able to withstand their might. So Joshua tells everyone to go ahead and get ready for the crossing of the Jordan River, and they all tell him that they'll do whatever he says. Chapter 2. Joshua sends 2 spies to Jericho to check out the city. So they go to Jericho and go directly to the house of a prostitute named Rahab, where they spend the night. No mention is made as to whether they did the sort of spying Joshua intended. Now, the king of Jericho hears that there are spies in their midst, probably because of the Israelites' complete inability to speak Jerichoese, and sends his men to get them from Rahab. Rahab, however, hides the spies on the roof of her house and pulls the old, "Oh, they went that way. If you hurry, you might catch them," routine. Then Rahab, who has apparently read the book of Deuteronomy, even though it wasn't written until at least 500 years later, professes that Yahweh is God and begs the Israelites to spare the lives of her and her family. The spies agree, and Rahab lowers them down outside the city on a rope because her house is in the city wall. Wait. Her house is in the city wall? So Joshua sends these 2 men to spy out the city of Jericho, and they don't get any further than the prostitute's house in the city wall. Well done, boys. So the spies return to Joshua and give him all the intel they've gathered, namely that there is a prostitute named Rahab living in the city wall. Chapter 3. The Israelites crossed the Jordan River using the magical powers of the Ark of the Covenant. Do not try this if you are a Nazi, because your face will be melted off. You might not have known about this magical water parting story because Moses kind of steals all the glory with his whole Red Sea trick in Exodus. Chapter 4. The Israelites take some stones to remember the parting of the Jordan River. They probably should have gone with some more memorable stones. Chapter 5. Everyone gets circumcised, and Joshua meets with the commander of the army of the Lord and has to take off his sandal because he's on holy ground. Chapter 6. The Israelites march around the city of Jericho a whole bunch of times, blowing their trumpets, and the walls come tumbling down. You may have seen this depicted in a cute episode of VeggieTales, or heard about it in a cute children's song. What those depictions leave out is the part where the Israelites rush into Jericho and kill every man, woman, child, elderly person, and animal with swords, except Rahab and her family, of course. In fact, the text says Rahab is still living in Israel to this day. She's probably retired by now. Chapter 7. Joshua tries to take the city of Ai with 3,000 men, but the Israelites run away before the army of Ai, and 36 of them are killed. This is because Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some booty from Jericho before they burned it. He wasn't supposed to do that. Now, until the Israelites rectify this, God is punishing all of them for Achan's sin. So the Israelites rectify it by stoning Achan and then burning him after they've stoned him. Chapter 8. The Israelites go back to Ai, this time with 30,000 men, and using a clever ambush, take the city and burn it to the ground, and kill all 12,000 of its inhabitants, both male and female, except the king, who hangs from a tree until evening. Chapter 9. The Hivites of Gibeon freak the hell out because they hear that the Israelites are killing literally everyone in Canaan. So they go to the Israelites and pretend they're from somewhere not Canaan. Joshua makes a peace treaty with them, but when he finds out they're Canaanites, he gets really pissed off at them for tricking him into not killing them and makes them slaves forever. Chapter 10. 5 Amorite kings team up and try to kill Joshua, but they're all defeated and executed. Then Joshua takes Makkedah and kills all of its inhabitants. Then he takes Libnah and kills all of its inhabitants. Then he takes Gezer and kills all of its inhabitants. Then he takes Eglon and kills all of its inhabitants. Then he takes Dabir and kills all of its inhabitants. Chapter 11. A bunch more kings team up and try to kill Joshua, and they are all defeated and killed. Then Joshua takes Hazor and kills all of its inhabitants, and then he takes a bunch of other cities and burns them to the ground. Oh, and kills all of their inhabitants. And that is Joshua 1 through 11. A little side note regarding the inerrancy of the Bible. Joshua 11:23 says that Joshua took the whole land, but in Joshua 13:1-7, Yahweh is telling a much older Joshua about all of the land he still has to take. It just doesn't sound like Israel to take more land than was promised. Oh, I forgot about Lachish. Yeah, Joshua took Lachish and killed all of its inhabitants.